Good morning. Um, I'm joined by my colleague Mark Eyking, Ms. Gata. This is a press conference regarding the inaction of the Harper government when it comes to Syria. The Syrian conflict is 2 years old. We have requested time and time again emergency debates. We've sent Mr. Kenny and Mr. Baird letters. The community has met with Mr. Baird. The community has yet to meet with Mr. Kenny. There's a couple of requests that the community has, and we're here to address them today, as well as call upon Mr. Kenny and the Harper government that is missing in action in Syria to take concrete steps in order to answer the requests from the community. Request number one, community has been raising money, and I'm going to and they want matching dollar for dollar, and I'm going to let Mr. Eyking address that. But the biggest request that the community has is the inaction of the Conservative government when it comes to immigration. After we had the earthquake in 2001 in Bhuj, in India, there was a movement at the time by the Liberal government in order to expedite the process of family class, spousal children, adopted kids, as well as parents and grandparents in regards to them in front of the line and coming to Canada to be their loved ones. Same thing happened with tsunami in 2005. That continued in Muzaffarabad in 2005, and it continued on even with the Conservatives. So the protocols that the Liberals set up, a number of points, especially in immigration, that continued. Lately, we have heard Mr. Kenny saying that we are expediting refugees out of Syria. We've heard that we're expediting parental cases as well as spousal cases. None of that is correct. I had sent an email to the Post both in Amman, Jordan and in Beirut, Lebanon back in February, no response. I sent another email to the managers of the Post in March, no response, and I just sent a response, and I got back a response from both of them identical to the comma, to the dotting of the I and crossing of the T. Basically, they're saying there's no special program that we have for refugees, and as far as spousal cases are concerned, if we identify that as a spousal case, we will try to do expedited, but there is no such thing as sponsorship of parents and grandparents. Now, there's refugees in Syria, but those refugees are refugees that are coming out of Iraq. There's a program that has been said that there is there. Mr. Kenny is going around and saying, we're bringing in refugees out of Syria. These are refugees that were earmarked and were refugees that had gone to Syria from Iraq. So there is absolutely nothing that they were doing with the immigration situation, unless, and far more than that, the community is asking that funds flow into the area, and that's not been addressed. And in that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Mark Eyking, which is the person responsible for CETA from our team.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, and thank you for coming here today. As we all know, there's a terrible situation happening in Syria. We have people living in Syria that are under total distress, and we have also many people in refugee camps. As Mr. Karygiannis mentioned, under Paul Martin government in 2001, with the terrible tsunami that hit India and much of the coast of Indonesia, a fund was set up. And the fund was to meet dollar for dollar to help the victims. And that has worked quite well in various situations, whether in Pakistan, we see it in Haiti. It not only brings money to the people who need it and help, but it also engages the people in Canada to feel like their dollars are being well spent. What we have presently with the Conservative government is not only they're abandoning this type of assistance, but you see how they're dealing with the NGOs. They're cutting so many NGOs out of the loop. We see it with the Auditor General's report, where you see there's money that's been fallen off the table that could have been used. So it's again, you see another example of not engaging Canadians when Canadians want to be able to help people that are falling on hard times around the world. So we are asking or telling the government to step up to the plate, and introduce this program again. It's well managed. It's cost effective. And the money goes right into the people who need it. If that doesn't happen, we're going to be looking like we're falling behind again and again to the people in the world that need us the most. Thank you very much.
At this point, I'm going to call Mrs. Gada Alwani, which represents a number of Syrian community groups, for her to give us what is happening on the ground, as well as to speak to the inaction of the government.
Hi, I'm here today really not to give figures or to tell you, oh, that number from the Syrian people are all over the place or they are suffering. Everyone know by now that this is happening, and you really don't need to be reminded about that. I'm here to just call on the Canadian government, the Conservative particular, into the necessity of doing something for our people, the necessity to be human in dealing with our problem in Syria. Time and time we called the office of Jason Kenney, Mr. Jason Kenney, many times, tried many times. They took me from one secretary to another, to another, to another. Finally, we managed after we said, okay, you know what, we are going to call on the opposition parties to help us out here. Finally, I received a phone call promising that we will be having a meeting. Hopefully, we will have a meeting. And yet again, it went away, and no meeting, no nothing. And I can't tell you how much the pressure, the suffering, even on us Canadian Syrian here, it's just taking so much toll from us. We came to the government, we came to the parliament, we did some lobbying at the parliament, and it was great. I mean, the only people we couldn't reach is Jason Kenney, the minister, the foreign affairs minister. We sent the letters, many letters. I personally sent letters to the prime minister, and still until now nothing happened. Canada is well known better than that. Really, we really hope that we keep being the Canada we know. We care for Canada, and there's a lot of things that they can be doing for us. At least our family brings them back here, leaves them with us. They are all over the place. My family particularly is diverted in many directions, some of them in Egypt, some of them in Jordan, some of them in Turkey, and some of them in jail. You know, a lot of families here. I know Syrian families who are, one of my friends, her son still in Syria. She can't even bring her own son. Imagine yourself, Canadian, are going through that. How do you feel toward your government you elected to help you out when you are in such a hard time going through? Every Syrian Canadian is going through a hard time, and our government need to do something about it. We presented. I gave paper to all the parliament, to the prime minister, to Mr. Jason Kenney, to everyone, telling them this is what we need from our government to do for us. And I'm really not going to go through all of it. At least bring our families, just do that for us, please. And also as a donation, my neighbors are giving me $500 to give donation to Syria, and yet my government is not helping out there. So there's something wrong in the picture. We really are calling on our government to do something about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. In wrapping again, I will say, and I will quote Rick Dykstra, which was the parliamentary secretary to the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, and he says on March the 20th that the minister, quote, has met and spoken with Syrian Canadians across the country on many occasions. So if that's the case, please prove it. Let us know who you've spoken to. Let us know which groups were spoken to. And even that, let us know how much money you spent to get there. The other question that I'm sure that my colleague, the other's comment is that where is the government? Where is Mr. Harper? Why he's not going to Red Cross like he did with Haiti when we had the parliament locked down to make a donations for Syria? Why not Syria? Why are we missing in action on Syria? Why are Syrians any different? Are Canadian Syrians not as worthy as others? This is what we call upon, and we hope that there's movement quickly. Thank you.
So in January, the government committed $48 million to help Syrian victims. What else specifically do you think the government should be doing? And, was this not enough? What was it about the $48 million?
The Syrian community is they've raised millions of dollars.
Yeah, we did.
And in other cases, would have been the Chinese community in the Sichuan earthquake, would have been the Pakistani community in the Muzaffarabad in 2005, would have been the Tamil community in the tsunami, the Haitian community, the Burmese community. They were allowed to raise money through NGOs or direct, and they were matched dollar for dollar. Even the Chinese community raised $1.5 million, and the government matched it, and they bought tents in Canada and they shipped them to Sichuan, and courtesy of Air Canada. So, we raised billions of dollars for Haiti. Why is one community treated one way, another community treated another way? I should have let you answer that.
No, it's fine. Fine.
You know, there are reports now that chemical weapons have been used in Syria, hurting the people even more. What response would you like to see the government take if this is indeed proved and, you know, this red line has been crossed?
25 years ago, on March 16th, 1988, Saddam Hussein used the chemical weapons to kill thousands of people in Halabja. I was at the Halabja Memorial 25 years later this year, and that was a genocide that was committed. Indeed, the government of Syria today is doing nothing less in its own people. So, you know, if we took action, the international community took action against Gaddafi in Libya, and they had elections last July, some sort of action needs to be addressed as far as Syria is concerned. Syria indeed is a different situation, and it's a different locality, but we need to address it. And Canada, unfortunately, not being at the United Nations security table, we lost that out to Portugal, cannot address it. I mean, Mr. Harper is a slip of the switch. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what? You have to